garbage all around when you go into the subways? Is there any concerning smells again?
Well, the number one thing I smell right now is pot. It's like everybody is smoking a joint now. Everybody has a joint. I'm not smelling. Maybe I have a New York nose that I'm not smelling. Filth.
That's gonna get him in trouble with some people. Okay, that right there. Some people take that personally because some people have taken weed personally. Weed because they've been told that marijuana laws was designed to lock them up. They really believe that.
I think Mayor Adams been smoking a little bit too much too.
They believe that marijuana laws was designed to. So yeah. Let me ask you this, yeah. Do you notice who smokes weed outside in public in your town?
Sun man.
Like, is that something that is it an annoyance or is it just it's nothing? Like it doesn't bother you.
I'm used to Sun man, living by different rules. How about you?
Oh yeah, I was that guy that used to walk around smoking K2, walk around smoking weed. I used to walk around always smoking. Like wherever I was at, I would smoke. Like I didn't just smoke. Like for instance, also you know this, man. Yeah. Some man smoke, man. We gonna find a cut.
No, it don't even got to be a cut. My thing is, man, if you see a Sun man sitting on the bench, chances are he's rolling up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like anywhere, like almost anywhere. I always do it because like I smoke cigars, and so sometimes I don't have a lighter. I'll just walk up to the first Sun man I see sitting on a bench somewhere, almost anywhere, and he might just be already rolling up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not for me, at least where I be at. Like I be, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not that unlikely. But.
Hey, Ike, if it's true that the Sun man's always high, why y'all so angry and murderous all the time, brother?
That's them other drugs, man. That's not the weed.
That's nature.
Yeah, some of that is just nature too. That's
so weed is not on the board for a solution, I'm guessing.
Nah. Let me get Ray up in here. What's up, Ray?
What's up, Ray? What's up, Wicked?
Hi, peace, everybody. I just have a problem with, and I want to address, why are we painting? We have to be very careful. Sometimes when communicating with one another, we understand based off of our own experiences, and it can be based off of your skin tone, your color, your cultural background, okay? But we're like painting a picture that we need to be careful about. Sure, that's a typical scenario for you, but like it could be any guy you ask for a damn lighter. Anybody who's cool is gonna realistically let a friendly person borrow a lighter. I just feel like, okay, people outside. Now we're saying that it's mostly Black people.
No, hold on.
All right,
Let me stop you. Mm-hmm. Where do you live? Where are you from?
Where do I live? Where am I from?
Where?
I have a very, I feel like getting into all that is not.
Are you from the west side, the east side, south side?
Are you from the
Midwest? You grew up around Black people?
I am a Black people, and yes, I grew up around Black people.
Okay, so now, are you inner city or suburban? What kind of
I am the most well-rounded person that you will ever meet.
Where do you live now? In the inner city or in the suburbs?
It doesn't matter.
No, yes it does. Hold on, talk about, man. If I ask you a question and you don't answer my question, why are you here? I don't understand. Like, you don't want to answer my question.
I feel like you just interrupted me to now ask this question, so I'm wondering what's.
No, I didn't. No. There's no interruption, man. I'm asking you a question. We asked you where you live at. You being secretive about where you live at. then we said, fuck it. Suburbs or inner city? And you won't answer that. Like, what's going on, man? Like,
I'm living on my phone and in my head, just like everyone else. So here we are on the computer.
Is that because he's black? Are you doing that because he's black?
Jesus Christ.
I can't tell whether, like, what are you trying to pin me into? Is I feel like you're trying to, like, prove a point. Get the point out. Say what you got to say.
No, I'm trying to ask you a question about where you're from. We don't know you. Everybody up here has been on here a long time. We don't know you. Okay?
I'm from a city. I've lived in all different types of places. I'm currently in transit. I'm moving from one city to another city.
Inner city?
I have experience living in the suburbs. I have experience with suburban people. I just happen to be from up north. I'm pretty well educated, so I speak in a way you can't tell where I'm from. Doesn't really matter where I'm from. I'm a child of God.
But it matters to us. Like
that's a problem. I feel like that's a problem.
No, but you painted us out. No, what you said is you said about us. You came on here on this channel. You've never probably been before, and you said that we're painting a picture.
I'm asking, is that what we're doing? And if we're not trying to do that, then cool. Let's like get to like what we're really looking at. The guy is saying the number one thing he smells right now is pot. I feel like we went off on like a closet tangent into like one specific point of view, and then I'm hearing all these other people of different skin tones looking at you as like darker skinned authorities, and it's kind of uncomfortable and weird because people who aren't black or don't see themselves as black or think of us as different people have these impressions about us because of the picture that we're painting.
Hold on.
It's the picture they paint.
Let me just show her something. This is what you sound like, Kiara.
Senator Hawley. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of the witnesses for being here. Before I want to visit with you, Ms. Minsky, but before I do, I just want to clear one thing up. Professor Bridges, you said several times, you've used a phrase, I want to make sure I understand what you mean by it. You referred to people with a capacity for pregnancy. Would that be women?
You trying to say I sound like that person?
Cis women have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women
you
do
can
not
pause
have the capacity
that.
for pregnancy. There are also
I'm not one of them LGBT
non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really.
Can you just let it play, please?
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so
you sound like this batshit law professor. Listen to the exchange he has. Listen to what he says, and listen to the way she responds. Listen to the way he asks questions, and listen to the way she responds. That's what I want you to just listen to.
Many women, cis women, have the capacity for pregnancy. Many cis women do not have the capacity for pregnancy. There are also trans men who are capable of pregnancy, as well as non-binary people who are capable of pregnancy.
So this isn't really a women's rights issue.
We can recognize that this impacts women while also recognizing that it impacts other groups. Those things are not mutually exclusive, Senator Hawley.
Oh, so your view is that the core of this right then is about what?
So I want to recognize that your line of questioning is transphobic, and it opens up trans people to violence by not recognizing that.
Wow, you're saying that I'm opening up people to violence by asking whether or not women are the folks who can have pregnancies?
So I want to note that 1 out of 5 transgender persons.
You see how she never responds to anything he says? And he's the senator. She's there to be ask questions, and she's not responding to anything he says directly.
Have attempted suicide. So I think it's important
because of my line of questioning. So we can't talk about it.
Because denying that trans people exist and pretending not to know that they exist.
I'm denying that trans people exist by asking you if you're talking about women having pregnancies.
Do you believe that men can get pregnant?
No, I don't think women can get
pregnant. So you are denying that trans people exist?
And that leads to violence? Is this how you run your classroom? Are students allowed to question you?
Absolutely.
Or are they also treated like this? Where
No,
they're told that they're opening up people to violence?
We have a good time in my class. You should join.
I bet.
You might learn a lot.
Wow, I would learn a lot. I've learned a lot.
I know.
Look how crazy she is. That's how you're coming off. So, again, where are you from, young lady? Ray, where you from?
You gotta
You're
unmute.
muted.
You're muted, Ray. Where you
I'm
from?
from Worcester, Massachusetts. It's a city in Central Mass. It's near Boston.
I
It's
know
like
Worcester.
inside.
I lived my first 6 years in America in Boston.
Yeah,
I lived in Roxbury.
Oh shit, Roxbury! I didn't know you lived in Roxbury.
Yeah, I lived the piano factory. I lived my first 6 years in Boston in America. So I mean, listen, man. Okay, that's cool. Now, where you're at, you have a lot of Cape Verdeans, do you?
There are a lot of different type of Caribbean people. There are a lot of different type of every type of people.
So but you have a lot of white people too.
But there's also a lot of black people. There's a lot of Spanish people. There's a ton of everybody. It's so well rounded, and I've traveled a lot, and that's one thing that I really like about Massachusetts.
Yeah, we just want to focus on where you're at now. So I gotta get these Worcester demographics up, man, right fast. But so Worcester, it's like WORCESTR, Massachusetts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so right there you have. Oh, that's a pretty big city, man. 183,000 people there. That's a big city. Okay.
That's decent. Yeah, that's pretty.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's not a town.
Right. That's not a town. You got a big city. I didn't know that it was like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And 13% of the population is Sun. So it's basically the same as the United States.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And you have 7% crouching tigers and 67% gliders. Okay, so now tell me this. When you're out and you happen to see someone smoking weed or you happen to smell weed smoke, what is the probability that it's a black person?
Obviously, it depends on where you're at. But
wherever you're at, there's
a higher chance that it's a black person. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
now, can I stop you right there? Okay. Mm-hmm. So if it's a higher chance, you're probably erring on the side of you being conservative because you got a kind of like an axe to grind. So you're probably saying that through clenched teeth.
I'm just trying to really look at it and not just speak from how I feel.
I got
about
you.
anything.
Just what you see.
Okay. Now, what if I told you this? I'm from Chocolate City. After I left Massachusetts, I moved to Washington, D.C., my mom's hometown of Washington, D.C. And that place was 80% Sun when I was growing up. And I lived around nothing but Sun people. Okay. So, and Osa lives there now, right?
Yep, that's right.
So it's like you got to understand that, like, it just is what it is, man. Now can I ask you another question? If there's a shooting in Worcester, what is the probability that it's a black guy that's committing the shooting or someone from
I give it a strong 50%, and then based off of the population, okay, I see what it is. I guess I was just wondering what we were doing with the direction of the conversation when I jumped in. But as far as this topic goes, I've grown out of wanting to flaunt that I'm out here high or that I'm out here stinking like weed. I grew up, that was what we did outside too. And when I went into a store like that, I was kind of thinking I was tough or I was bold or confident for walking in just as I am, high, smelling. But you grow up and you realize that you don't want anybody knowing too much about you, even if you're smoking weed or if you're not. That should be your business personally, and especially when you're going out public places, like respect for the kids and the babies and the old people. It's just like that, right?
I feel it.
But the attitude of our young people is one that you either got to learn how to undo in adulthood, like having badass credit, and you got to work your way up in life after you're already 35, 40, or you're going to die or you're going to wind up in a ditch, either metaphorically or really.
Hey, so Ray, let me ask you this, right? So look, where you live, it's like 13% Sun people, some people being black people. And and it's like that with what you've experienced. Okay, so in my city now, like I said, in Washington, D.C., it was 80%. Now it's like 45. But in my neighborhood is like 80, 90, 95% Sun people, right? It's 9. Okay, so imagine, so to what degree do you think that somebody like me sees the similar behavior?
So from where you're coming from, that totally makes sense. I guess I just wish even us ourselves, and I have had to, I have to work on it. I have to undo a lot of the bondage. I don't want to be black as in blacklisted, black as in that slave weight of traumas and generational curses and all that shit. Like if you are truly black, you experience and you live that. And I don't want to live.
Hold on, can I ask you a question though? You're living slave bondage and trauma. Give us an example of the last experience you've had where slave bondage and all this stuff has been either thrust upon you, or it's been a situation where you were a victim of that.
Sure. Absentee father, whether for some type of situation that happened with him, or because of his feelings.
Can we stop there? Now, your dad being absentee. That hold on. You're saying that that's part of like the system of American, oppression.
Yeah, slavery. Yeah, oppression of people of color, the people that I come from.
So my argument with that is, what about?
Well, that's not your father's fault.
I'm not saying it's my father's fault. And my father, let me just
You're saying it's not your father's fault.
There's a system that has been in place for so long. It's been bred into black people. Slavery.
What system? Because the argument I have with you is that Native Americans actually, due to Trail of Tears and other things, they were split from their families too. Do you know how many Native American children were taken from their parents, but to this day, they still believe in families and they still stick together? The thing about slavery is that's just an excuse.
You're breaking up too. Come back in AP.
I'll keep that.
Yeah.
I believe that Native American, or whatever you feel comfortable with me calling your people that you're describing, and the people that I come from and I am describing, and myself, the tactics were different. There were some similarities. I know that as a black person, and I know, I even know white people living in, or white looking people living in a black reality, as to where these slave things, where you're addicted to things that are not good for you. And there's a liquor store on every corner. And a lot of
Let me ask you this. Let me stop you. Hold on. Let me stop right here. Let me ask you this. So everything bad, all vices, all things that are inconvenient, or things that happen to you in life, those are all attributed to oppression, right?
In some way, they're related. From what?
Okay. All right. Cool.
Now,
you're black, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well,
now
I don't want to be. I feel like that's a slave term. I'm black for conversation's sake. I have.
Where are your people from? You mentioned your people. Where are your people from?
The United States, lost heritage.
Okay. Fine.
White.
Fine. Now, how do you think your experience would be in Africa? Because we can only assume that if America's bad, the other place outside of going to another European country or an Arab country or Asian country, the next logical step would be, if America is unsuitable, to go back to an African country. What do you think your experience would be like in an African country?
I think it would be great, but also I'm someone who I like to cover my hair and be very covered and modest, almost Muslim, but I'm not Muslim.
What country would you like to live in Africa?
Yeah, which one? Give us a country that you think, because you've obviously researched this. So what country would you think would ideally suit what you were looking for in a lifestyle?
I have a grandmother who lives in South Africa. I don't know much about any African countries like that. I've never traveled.
Why have you never? Hold on. Well, why haven't you researched it? You have the internet. If this is something that is at your fingertips. I mean, literally at your fingertips. You can easily find out about these African countries. Easily. Why have you not taken the time to?
I have looked into Ethiopia. I would like to live in Ethiopia.
Ma'am, do you have a passport? Do you have a passport?
Yes.
So why haven't you traveled to these places?
The white man stopping her.
Well, no. What other countries have you? No. What other countries have you been
Yeah,
to?
what countries have you traveled to?
You have a passport.
I have not been outside of the country besides.
So how can you make an assumption about how great these places are if you've never visited them?
Or researched.
I have researched Ethiopia.
Research is not the same as visiting on the ground.
Okay.
Can I ask you one question?
Visit every place I research?
No. Hold on. Time out. It is a requirement that if you proclaim that these places are better somehow.
I never said that.
Or these places somehow afford you a lifestyle that you can't get here. It seems that the least you would have done is a Google search. No,
Yeah,
I mean a
when
Google
did I ever
search.
say anything like that though? When did I ever say that?
Okay, you said it was great.
You said going to Africa would be great. We asked you what country.
It would be great to go anywhere. I think travel is a great education.
So you make it. You're saying that as like it's a vacation or something like that.
No.
Because we're
learn so much when I'm exposed to other cultures and people. You can do that when you're outside.
And so my argument to you is
so you should do your research.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. My argument to you, if these places are so great, why are millions of them trying to come here? You don't see any Americans trying to deport themselves there, but you have millions of them coming here, and they're fighting and using our laws to stay here, whether illegally or legally. They're doing the same thing, flying to Europe, the same thing.
This is a great country to work.
Oh, but I thought Africa was better.
When did I ever say that?
You said you just said you would like to go there.
She didn't technically say that. She implied it.
Right.
She just said that America is it's unfair to black people.
If this was great white
slavery.
oppression and slavery, the land of bondage, the land of the slave master.
So it's spiritual at this point.
Hold on. The land of bondage. Then why are non-whites flooding white nations?
All right, so look, I think that Ray, you're being a really good sport, and I think we're on you a lot here.
No, this question needs to be answered because we keep hearing about white supremacy, white oppression, police brutality. They're hunting us down. But all the people who are flooding white Western nations are non-whites.
She got it.
Go ahead, answer the question.
So at this point, slavery is a spiritual thing that I believe any person who identifies as black or has been labeled as black can break free of mentally. I'm not saying white people are the enemy. My mother looks white. She passes for white. And I know what white privilege is.
So your
mom is white. Can you please answer the question though? If this is so white supremacy, white oppression, white bondage, slavery, white people are bad.
It's an old institution.
Why are non-whites flooding white nations? And why is it that when whites want to send them back, they don't want to go? Please explain.
People are addicted to money.
Money. Oh, so I thought African nations, if they're on the same par as white nations, they should have money. Money shouldn't matter, right? Because money is from capitalism. Unless you
but
guys
people
say
love
that,
money.
Hold on, you said the nation
people
was
love
built
money.
on slavery, built on capitalism. So why would you want white man money?
Are you talking to me like I'm that person?